So please, everyone chime in with, some aspect of the rituals that definitely are contradictory to the word of God, that's blasphemous to the word of God. And, you've come to realize like, oh my gosh, like, I can't believe I said this, I did this, so share that with everyone.
Oh my gosh. Okay, look, y'all. Y'all know I told y'all I did the research and I thought it was fake. And then I got into that room. And I'll say one thing, because I could probably go on all day about this. But, I was the 6th at the time, of course. And one of the things we had to do was take turns kneeling on a pillow and putting our right hand up and basically just repeating after the basilisk, or what you call the president at the time. There's another ritual name for it, but I forgot. And we had to repeat after her. And one of the things that we talked about was really, I don't know word for word, but really giving our hearts to Alpha Kappa Alpha forever, like for life. That's it. And, I know some chapters would sign their name in blood, but I had to sign my name. And, but I didn't sign my name in blood, y'all. I didn't do that. I just know some other chapters did that.
Wait, what? Let's go back to that. Say what?
No, wait. I know that some other chapters would sign their name in blood, but I didn't have to do that. But that's technically what it was. We just used regular pens, and we had to write down our name in this book, basically pretty much sealing the deal, making that agreement, making that covenant to say, yes, I agree. And the Lord really highlighted that to me about really letting your yes be your yes and your no be your no. Anything further than that is from the evil one. And he was pretty much, when I came to that point, he highlighted these rituals and said, you've yoked yourself to something else that's not me. So I can't have all of you. But that was one of the things.
Y'all, everybody like, we still on the blood part, because we like, what? I know you didn't do that, Evelyn. It's just like, this is just the reality of what we talking about here. Like when we're public and bold and about, this is not of God, like Evelyn, like, thank you for sharing that does go on, appreciate it. Go ahead.
I wanted to kind of piggyback off of that. The altar really was an issue for me, and I didn't realize that it was an altar. I was at initiation or something, and I've been to several initiations, and I was at initiation and I heard a member say, let's move the altar over here, and my mind was like, what? I literally just thought it was a table. And so when I heard that, my mind was like, what? And I instantly started feeling that conviction that I was already kind of had been feeling. And then I tried to reason with myself and just say, well, I mean, that doesn't mean that it's worship. And then I literally said, okay, Amber, when else is there an altar present? Worship in secret societies. That's it. Like no time, no other time. And so like the kneeling, like I said, well, you know, I didn't actually physically bend over and bow, but like when you kneel to show submission, you're literally telling this entity, whatever it is, like I'm submitting myself to you. And at the end of the day, we don't really know exactly what it is that we're submitting ourselves to. We're just agreeing to a whole bunch of vows and oaths in front of like this candle that's used to represent a dead person. Like at the end of the day, that's almost like a seance in a sense. Like when I started putting all of this stuff together in my head, I was like, you know, I can't stand before God and make an excuse for any of this. None of it checks out. It just doesn't. Like the more I read the Bible, the more I'm trying to get closer to God. I can't rationalize any of it. I just can't. The only thing I could possibly say is it didn't mean anything. Well, if it doesn't mean anything, why are you still there? So.
Yeah. And when you talk about the actual practicing of the rituals, if you took Alpha Kappa Alpha Alpha or any Greek, or you just take the name off and compare it to a witch's ceremony, you couldn't tell the difference. Because the qualities of this is it's dark. I remember it being dark. And they talk about you have to form in specific patterns. And if you read the ritual, it reads just like a witch's spell, where you have to repeat and then repeat something else. And so just the whole seance, it is a seance, because you're making your oaths to the entity is Alpha Kappa Alpha. When you have words in the ritual that talk about, we're going to talk about for the next question, but just talking about to thee and to this, it's an entity. It's not just a name, it's something else. And it talks about the spirit throughout the ritual, the spirit of AKA. Who is this spirit? What is this spirit? And so just the whole process of the candles, of the sayings and the oaths you have to repeat back and forth, the setting, like she said, the altar, where you are having to bind yourself and you're linking up with the other ladies. Again, go watch a witch's ceremony. No difference.
Literally. I just, like you said, I remember the room being dark. The only light was a candle at the table representing what Amber just said. And it was the altar. We were facing the altar. We were lining up at the altar in a line and chanting until the last person lit their candle. And literally, it was so many of us in that room, like it's like we were chanting this thing over and over and over, because we had to wait until the last person finished all the way at the back. And I don't completely remember what we were waiting for each person to finish, but I don't know. But I remember that was when I was being initiated, when I was in the process of being in leadership, helping to initiate other people. I remember standing behind the altar with the black robe on, looking at them and saying, repeat after me, and looking everybody in the eye. And I was thinking to myself, like, what am I doing? And it's like I remember something being different about me that day, where I had to look at them and see if they were serious enough. I was like the look I was giving them was like, you better mean it. And the change that happened in me while I was doing something else doing that to someone else, that was different. That was a different spirit. We even, as Erica said, we addressed a spirit throughout the rituals. We addressed, and I remember at that time, because I was in possession of the ritual book, and we were addressing an eternal spirit. Who is that? What was that? The entire thing. If other people who had never seen it before could be a fly on the wall, they would say, this is demonic. This is dark. These are witches. That's what they would say.
And real quick to add, I just want to read something from there, because Khalil, you touched on how we had to keep singing it at the end of every meeting. We had to keep sealing the deal over and over and over again, and just, that was a form of worship. So here's an example of the eternal spirit. So from the ritual book. So eternal spirit, we yearn for a better understanding of spiritual things and a closer walk with thee. I'm going to read it one more time. Eternal spirit, we yearn for a better understanding of spiritual things and a closer walk with thee, that we may interpret aright the times in which we live. We long to be able to minister according to thy will to people who are troubled and burdened with the cares of the world. And it's like when you read it and you have new eyes in the Lord, didn't that sound crazy? But we did these things because we were very blind. But that's an example of like really praying to the eternal spirit, thy. Who was that? It wasn't God, it wasn't Jesus.
And I kind of want to just kind of piggyback off of Amber and Miss Erica. Like when you all were speaking about the candle. So we know like in the front of the room, it's that candle, that representation of Ethel. And like when we were in the circle, like, you know, we had our own little candle, and we were like the first person lit the candle from Ethel and kind of lit it to everyone else. And as we lit each other's candle, we were saying, I think it's pass on the torch, pass on the flame, remember from where the glory came. So it's like as we're lighting the candle, we're saying that every time we light the candle until we got to the end. And then if you look further into the ritual book, you will see where it says like the glory isn't mine, the glory isn't yours. Basically, the glory is for the founders. And it's like, that's a whole contradiction to the word of God, because God is to get the glory, the honor, and the praises. But we were praising the founders for this, you know, and that totally goes against the word of God. Even when it comes to just signing our name in the book, you know, in the beginning of the ritual, in the rituals, it tells us this is spiritual. So everything that we're doing is spiritual. So we have to look at it from a spiritual standpoint and to realize, well, hey, me signing my name in that book, it was spiritual. Like, why do I have to sign my name? Why do I have to kneel? And, you know, a lot of people, like including myself, we did these things and we didn't even ask, why do we have to do it? We just do them. And it's like, it's something to everything. It's a reason for everything. Like, you're not just doing it just to do it, you know? So we're not really thinking of that at that moment. Like, we're just looking at it from the physical standpoint, not really understanding what's happening in the spirit as we're doing this. So it's really like Satan has deceived us, and he deceived so many people into doing it. Like, people really just doing these things and thinking it's just nothing, but it's really something to everything that we did in that room.
Because they were denied admission to the sorority. The girls claim their human rights were violated, and now they're suing to get in. Fox 5's Marie Nume spoke to one of the students, her mother, and their attorney about the lawsuit.
And joining me now is Lauren Cofield, her mother Leslie Cofield, and their attorney Jay Wendell Gordon. Thank you all for being with us today.
Thank you for having me.
Let me start with you. We've talked to a lot of people about this lawsuit, and the overwhelming reaction we've gotten is, oh please, why file this lawsuit?
It's really a breach of contract case. The AKA's bylaws and constitution has a legacy clause. It's the only organization, Greek letter organization, black Greek letter organization, that has a legacy clause. And what that clause says is that if you do certain things as a member, if you remain active and remain financial in the organization, then you have the right to bestow the legacy status upon your daughter. So Ms. Cofield did everything that she was supposed to do to be able to benefit from that right.
Well, the AKA did respond by saying it's not a birthright. In fact, they said, despite the plaintiff's disappointments and complaints, AKA did not violate the legacy clause in its constitution and bylaws, because that is not a guarantee of membership to a particular chapter, but simply provides for priority process.
Exactly. Yeah. Well, actually, it is a guarantee of membership, provided that the candidate does everything that they're supposed to do. And it does allow a priority. Legacies go first, and then everybody else afterwards. These aren't our rules. This is in the AKA Constitution.
This seems to be a case of sour grapes. Why isn't it?
I've been a member for over 30 years. I have done my service. I have supported fundraisers. I have done everything, you know, that I was supposed to do, attended chapter meetings, everything.
So you've done your part, but what did you do, Lauren? What did you do that made you feel that the AKA somehow reneged on something they should have done?
Well, I've done everything that I'm supposed to do as a student. You know, I've always kept my grades up. I've been very, very active on my campus. I've really honestly been a model student. I don't feel like it's an entitlement. I think that's also, probably the biggest misconception, even around campus.
Where do things go now? You know, again, some might say if she wasn't accepted, why not move on? Why not pledge a grad chapter?
Well, for me, it's very personal. I am an Alpha Chapter initiate. This is where most of my friends are. Most of my friends were either pledged me or I pledged them. You know, my husband also graduated from Howard. We have a big circle of friends. All of my friends have known my daughter all of her life and watched her grow up to be a remarkable young woman. And they actually are saddened by the fact that she's not on the line.
Jay Wendell Gordon, thank you. Leslie Cofield and Lauren Cofield, thank you so much for your time. Certainly a talker. I'm sure this is not the last we'll hear of this. We thank you all for your time today.
Sure, thank you.
The mother of a Pitt student is speaking out for the first time tonight about a sorority hazing incident that she says put her daughter in therapy. Julie Grant reported on the allegations when they first surfaced last month, and tonight she has more details.
It's absolutely heartbreaking.
It's been a brutal month for Sue Levy-Giles' 20-year-old daughter, Alexandria. The pre-med major from Philadelphia says that she was hazed while pledging Alpha Kappa Alpha sorority at
She cannot go to class alone. She is unable to be by herself.
The attack allegedly happened on February 21st and 23rd, but Alexandria didn't say anything until days later when her mother noticed a nasty bruise.
She broke down, sobbing.
Levy-Giles says her daughter told her she and 11 other pledges were forced into a car and driven to a home in Penn Hills, where they were beaten with paddles in a dark basement.
She had been kicked, pushed, punched, slapped. She had been forced to ingest rotten food.
Alexandria even broke a tooth. Penn Hills Police Chief Howard Burton told me his officers are investigating.
These young girls, they probably weren't aware of what was going on or what was right, what was wrong. I think Mom got them together and explained that, hey, that's not right.
After the alleged incident came to light, officials here at the University of Pittsburgh suspended Alpha Kappa Alpha sorority. The sorority's national organization then issued a statement saying that they were appalled at the incident and have zero tolerance for hazing. Levy-Giles, who is also a member of the sorority, says it's worse because her daughter wanted to be part of the group since she was a little girl.
As a mom, I'm sorry, but I wish I could have protected her. But I entrusted her to the university. I entrusted her to my sorority.
Julie Grant, KDKA TV News.
The mother of a former Northwestern University student is suing a sorority she blames for her daughter's suicide. 19-year-old Jordan Hankins died in January of 2017. The lawsuit against Alpha Kappa Alpha alleges that hazing caused her severe anxiety and depression, which led Jordan to take her own life. Now her parents are opening up to CBS this morning in their only television interview. Jerika Duncan is outside the sorority's headquarters in Chicago. Jerika, good morning.
Good morning. As a result, Alpha Kappa Alpha was suspended from Northwestern's campus in 2017. In a statement to CBS this morning, they say they were deeply saddened by the death of Jordan Hankins. But still, the parents of Hankins believe the sorority, made up of nearly 300,000 members nationwide, should be held responsible for their daughter's death.
She had a smile that would brighten up a room. If you were feeling low or feeling down, Jordan just had this way of making you forget.
From a young age, Jordan Hankins had a passion for helping others and a gift when it came to playing sports. She won a full ride to Northwestern University on a basketball scholarship.
Going forward, I hope that we keep the same energy.
Her sophomore year, she told her parents, Felicia and Walter Hankins, she wanted to join a sorority as a way to serve others.
Did hazing even cross your mind? When she first told me that she had an interest, I think most importantly, my concerns were that they were genuine in their mission.
We know her as Revelation.
Hankins' mom remembers watching the ceremony in which her daughter became an official member of Alpha Kappa Alpha.
What was going through your mind as you're watching her? Pride, a sense of relief. you know, because the process was over.
But just 7 weeks later, the 19-year-old took her own life in her dorm room.
I couldn't reach her, so that was my concern. So then I just started trying to call continuously, no answer, no answer. And so, you know, ultimately, you know, she was found the next day.
Even if you are part of sorority or fraternity, it could happen to your family. It could happen, and it did.
A lawsuit against the sorority and 9 members alleges that during post-initiation pledging, Jordan was subjected to physical abuse, including paddling, financial exploitation, sleep deprivation, and other forms of hazing intended to humiliate and demean her. The court documents say the hazing was triggering her PTSD, causing severe anxiety and depression, and that she was having suicidal thoughts. According to the lawsuit, she expressed that to her sorority sisters. It's unclear what her PTSD stemmed from. Brandon Vaughn is the family's attorney.
You believe that if the sorority hadn't hazed, Jordan Hankins would still be alive today?
That is what's alleged in the lawsuit, yes. She sounded the alarm that the initiation practices that they were subjecting her to were causing harm, and they didn't do anything about it.
She told sorority members, "I'm feeling suicidal." Did she ever express that to any family or friends?
I'm not going to comment on that.
It is a dirty secret in America that the problem is pervasive and extensive in sorority life, just as it is in fraternity life.
We are suffering the loss. I mean, we suffer with it every day.
Maisha Hilliard is talking about her oldest son, 20-year-old Tyler. He died shortly before starting his junior year at UC Riverside. On September 15th, 2018, he was pledging the Alpha Phi Alpha fraternity. The pledges and fraternity members went to Mount Rubidoux in Riverside for a run. Hilliard's family says the pledges endured hazing at the hands of the fraternity members with them.
Tyler was subjected to harmful, humiliating, and life-threatening hazing rituals that ended at Mount Rubidoux, where he apparently collapsed and was taken to the ambulance to the hospital, where he died the following day.
The family is suing the fraternity and the UC Riverside chapter of Alpha Phi Alpha. They are not suing the university. Riverside police are investigating. Hazing in the state of California is illegal. On the fraternity's website, it states they are against hazing. Tyler's parents say he ended up in the hospital after an alleged hazing incident. A week later, he was dead.
We'd like for anyone to come forward with more information than what we've already received. And I'm sure there's a whole lot more that's gone on that we have no knowledge of.
We reached out to the fraternity's national headquarters in Baltimore, Maryland. So far, they have not returned our emails or calls for comment.
Hello, I'm Mark Brown. Click the ABC7 logo to subscribe to our Eyewitness News YouTube channel.
Well, SUNY Buffalo State is investigating a fraternity tonight after a student who was a senior died overnight. 21-year-old Bradley Doyley died last night at Buffalo General Medical Center. School officials are looking into whether his death is connected to off-campus hazing.
The college has suspended the campus fraternity Alpha Phi Alpha as part of the investigation. News 4's Allie Ingersoll is in the newsroom with the latest details. Allie?
Don and Jackie, students around campus are mourning today after Buffalo State senior Bradley Doyley died last night. Buffalo police are looking into what led to his death to see if hazing could be related. They're investigating this following allegations that Doyley was pledging Phi Alpha fraternity. A source tells News 4 the alleged hazing incident took place January 10th at an off-campus location, and it wasn't reported until the beginning of this month. While police are investigating, Buffalo State and AFIA's national organization has suspended the college's chapter. Alpha Phi Alpha's national organization released this statement to us today, saying in part that it's a standard protocol to suspend a fraternity while an investigation is ongoing, adding they don't condone hazing in any form, and they're working with law enforcement to ensure anyone violating this policy is brought to justice. Upon learning about Doyley's death, Buffalo State College's president, Catherine Conway Turner, is also releasing a statement. In part, she says the college takes pride in providing a civil and caring environment, and they don't tolerate students or organizations which undermine that community. Erie County's medical examiner is set to perform an autopsy determining if Doyley's exact cause of death. Doyley was a guard for the Bengals basketball team, and students are fundraising during tonight's game to raise money for his funeral arrangements. There's also a moment of silence planned just before the team's tip-off tonight at 7:30. In the newsroom, Allie Ingersoll, News 4 at 6.
It broke me down. It hurt. It's something I never felt before.
Bowie State University student Kevin Hayes is describing both the emotional and physical pain. The junior and Army National Guard member says he endured pledging for the fraternity Alpha Phi Alpha at Bowie State last year. Even blurred out, you could still see the bruising Hayes claimed to receive on his backside during that time. The lawsuit says frat members selected him for the fall membership intake process in 2013, and from September to November of that year, almost every night, Hayes says he was required to attend sets where he told WUSA 9 frat members slapped him, body slammed, punched, and paddled him, punished him if he didn't recite fraternity information correctly.
It's hard for me to quit something once I stop.
The lawsuit claims a frat leader saw photos of the alleged abuse and attitudes changed. But after Hayes' mother met with advisors, that's when he says things got worse.
We can't just say you're a snitch. Oh, you're always talking. We're never going to accept you. We're going to blackball you. They began to ostracize me. Not just the members in the fraternity, but people that they knew.
His mother didn't go to police, but attorney Jim Bell says that shouldn't matter.
They have a duty under Maryland law to make him safe.
Bell says school advisors never had medical personnel examine Hayes or any of the other students pledging, which is why he has 3 men associated with the frat named in the lawsuit. Calls to the men named went unanswered today. Bell tells us,
this is not a laughing matter. It's not a wink-wink matter. This type of stuff kills people, and it needs to stop.
There's something that must happen so no one else after me has to deal with these issues.
Hayes also told me he still wants to be a part of the fraternity here, saying what happened is not a reflection of the group as a whole.
disturbing. Shahid sent me some pictures of what he looked like. Was this immediately after initiation?
Yeah, these pictures came right after initiation. You can be hazing this way or any other ways, you know. So it's not like, you know, these bruises and stuff happen on one night throughout the whole entire process. This happens multiple times. This just happened to be the day I took the picture.
So if you can't take this, then turn away for a quick second. But here they are. So these are pretty bad. I mean, when you sent this to me originally, I could not believe it. I honestly could not believe it.
Yeah, it's and you can kind of see, like, if you, I don't know if you can zoom in, but on that left picture, you can almost see like a big handprint, like towards the middle. So this is only hands, you know, being slapped against your body, etc. You know, and people of my skin complexion are a lot more sensitive. This is a lot more visible, but this is just being slapped left and right, you know, with different hands, etc. And some people, you know, I mean, it can get a lot worse than that. You know, you get hit in your legs, you know, with different stuff, different items at times. You know, even another form of hazing is, you know, just a more common form of hazing is being paddled on the butt. So your butt can look just as bad as that does, you know, if not worse. For people like myself, it may be so bruised it's blue or green, you know, or you can develop blood clots, etc. So it gets pretty tense, you know.
You're a bitch.
That's not cool. Don't fucking touch me. That was too close to my face.
And she was calling them to smack that shit out of her. Tell you, bitch, to understand that I'll smack that shit out of her right now. Smack that shit out of her.
Oh, you was holding it like I was taking a long picture. I'm like, wait, when you gonna snap it? Step your technology up, bro. You had to make sure so you can jump your ass in there. It's hardwood. Keep bitches. Rude. Give me my cream, goddamn. Give me my cream, bitches.
To the most level, we close to make stuff up, incorporate all parts of
y'all back up behind me.
Black brothers and sisters.
I'm gonna put a little booty on your hook.
But we, the doors of a make.
There we go.
Lay all our stuff. These are the things.
Make stuff
fire. Make stuff fire. Make stuff fire. Make stuff fire till the day we die. I'm making stuff up. Tiny corporations found on Dark Storm Friday at Press 9 p.m. on November 17, 1911 on the campus of Howard University on the 3rd floor of Science Hall. Currently known as 3rd K Hall. I'm making stuff up. Fraternity was founded by 3 liberal students and the faculty advisors. The most honorable Dr. James Justice, the most honorable Professor Frank Cope, most honorable Dr. James Cooper, most honorable Bishop Eric James Love. I'm making stuff up. Fraternity was incorporated October 28, 1914, organized December 15, 1911. Colors, royal purple, old gold, symbolizes royalty and wealth. Motto, friendship is essential to the soul. Dirty Camel, the dead charter May 15, 1952. And Mississippi North Carolina, currently known as Eastern Michigan University. Dirty Camel, the dead charter first black fraternity charter Eastern Michigan University. Dead charter member, Sylvester College charter member, Paul Alwell, Mac charter member Roger Armour, charter member James Weir, charter member James Cook, charter member White again, charter member Leonard King, charter member Doug Say, charter member Stan Cotton, charter member Gerald A. Lee.
Another University of Arizona fraternity has lost its recognition, making it the 6th frat kicked off campus in just 3 years.
The university says it became aware of multiple hazing and alcohol violations by the Delta Sigma Phi fraternity after someone submitted a complaint to the U of A hazing hotline in February. 2 days ago, the university revoked the fraternity's chapter. 9 News Side's Ricky Mitchell with the latest.
Red Solo cups and beer cases litter the front yard of the Delta Sigma Phi house, a fraternity that just 2 days ago lost its recognition. But neighbors say that didn't stop them from throwing a party last night.
It was really bad. We had broken bottles over the wall, and yeah, it was pretty bad.
Ruth Volturo owns Gardening by the Yard and says she takes care of a property that faces the frat house.
See a lot of broken glass and beer bottles and cups, Solo cups, and just trash.
Delta Sigma Phi is the 6th fraternity in 3 years to lose its university recognition. Out of 16 active chapters, only 4 currently have no sanctions. One of those is Phi Delta Theta. Lucas Wyman is the social chairman who says they are a dry house.
Partying's great. It's to what level do you take it?
According to the university, one of the allegations against Delta Sigma Phi involved placing new members in a room and giving them 15 minutes to finish a handle of vodka, also given an empty bucket to be used for puking. Obviously, there's some things that go on during the recruitment process, but that just seems almost excessive.
It's way excessive. There's building someone up, and there's taking someone down, and then there's also risking someone's life.
And we did reach out to members of the Delta Sigma Phi fraternity. They did not want to comment for this story. According to the university, they have until April 14th to appeal the decision. Guy?
Thank you, Ricky.
I understand that, what are you doing?
I'm giving a blessing to the audience.
I don't think they appreciate it. They were throwing it back.
Well, they thought it was a curse. Would you like me to show them how the sign of the curse works?
The sign of the curse?
Completely different.
How does it go?
No, not at you people out there in the audience, but this is the difference.
Aim it toward Red China, would you?
This is the sign of the horn. A curse sign, the two fingers extended. This way, spread apart for sort of shotgun blast, you know.
I always
all over.
figured if I ever met the devil, he'd have dirty fingernails. Go on.
No, they're not.
Yes, they are.
Where?
Dirty fingernails.
Well, that's because I've been fooling around with your equipment.
Never mind. Don't blame it on the studio. Go on with it.
All right.
So that's the sign of the horn, and then what happens? Is that it?
Well, there are other ones, too.
Yeah, what are the other ones?
The other ones, one of them's the pox sign. That's 3 fingers extended.
A pox on you?
A pox on you. During the Middle Ages, this was...
Yeah. Oh, yes.
But
You're
originally...
a bad cat.
Well, you have to be bad to be good, don't
Is it
you?
true that you teach people how to make voodoo dolls and stick pins in them to hurt people?
That's right. I believe that hate is necessary in a controlled way just as much as love is necessary.
But...